did I learn in the real world? What's the one thing most likely to rot people's minds and reduce their brains to mashed potatoes? I remember now. Television! But there's no TV here in the Stone Age. It hasn't been invented yet. Or has it?
Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario World.
Super Mario World was a show from the past. And if you're thinking it's good, well, you'll be sorry you asked. Delfino and the Peach here are watching what they can. The budget was $2 and a piece of ham.
Super Mario World.
Super Mario World, it just looks like ass. The Supershow Saga, it's a gas! Sush, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can y'all hear me?
Yes!
Yay!
All right.
Woo!
Discord wasn't giving me any kind of feedback on my mic for a bit, so I was worried.
Okay, now we're good. And speaking of good, this episode?
Yep.
This episode was a hot mess.
Really? You think it was a hot mess? When I think hot mess, I think party line.
True. This feels like they made an episode that was like 30 minutes, and then they're like, wait, we can't have a 30-minute episode. We've only got 10 minutes. So they're like, all right, let's just cut out some bits. So they cut it all up and stitched it back together. So, like, there's a bunch of ideas going on, and you can tell they want to tell a story, but they just kind of forget about stuff all the time. And it's okay. I guess we're doing this now.
That's such a
What
harsh
happened to this? Who
reading on it.
cares?
This is like, you know what? This is my favorite episode. I can't
They
get over it.
Frankenstein this episode together. I mean, it's great, but it's
Okay,
still.
you say Frankenstein like what came out was an ugly monster, but this was a beautiful creation.
It was hilarious.
If I may say so myself. Also, maybe I'm just in a chipper mood today, because even though I do have like homework and tests to be studying for,
Because
I
they
finally
fixed your sink drain.
they fixed the sink drain.
Oh, hell yeah.
For like half of the semester, the sink drain has been clogged in the community one, and nobody called in a maintenance request about this or anything. And what kept happening was people would keep pouring their like food waste down the drain. When I say the sink drain, I mean the one that grinds up the food.
Yeah.
The garbage disposal unit. So people would keep pouring like food down into it because they're like, oh, it's the sink thing. I won't like use it, but I'll just put my stuff down there and whoever uses it next will do it. Except it didn't work. It was broken. So if you ran the water for a bit, food waste water would just start pouring back up. Like there was a whole strawberry once, and it's like, this stuff is gross. So it's like
Nasty.
some days I would like reach in, have to grab food and like throw it out. I'm
Okay,
like,
we're done
this
with
is-
this conversation.
Anyways, it was gross.
Me neither.
So I filed like an official complaint for it, and I was like, I wonder if they'll ever get around to it. And today I was like, oh, I'm hearing people in the kitchen. And someone's on the phone. I'm like, oh, did they fix it? And then after they left, I snuck in and I like turned it on and it worked. And I was like, oh, it works. So no more being gross. Now I can finally, no more clogged drains. Life is good for me. And also, welcome to the Supershow Saga, featuring very busy and very late on releasing episodes, Delfino Durians,
And obsessed with Psychonauts, Peach Supreme.
and not doing her art projects.
Hey, I drew stuff. I mean, it wasn't what you wanted, but I drew stuff.
We've got so many things on the docket, and you're just adding more to it,
No.
Peach.
And we have a special guest today.
Yeah. Introduce yourself, Sushi.
There, I'm Sushi. I don't really do much.
You play
Your friend. You play Splatoon.
Yeah, I play the Sploom.
You also are on Twitch.
Yes, I do occasionally stream on Twitch. I'm currently kind of getting back in the swing of things with a playthrough of an old childhood favorite of mine, Pokemon Emerald, exactly like you remember it.
That makes it sound like it's a Nuzlocke challenge and not exactly how we remember it.
Oh no, it's a perfectly casual playthrough.
Okay. Who's your starter?
Mudkip. Probably my
Good choice.
favorite starter of all time.
Peach, do you have words against that?
I love Mudkip.
I know you're all about Grovyle.
I mean, Grovile's my fave just because of Mystery Dungeon. But I don't have anything bad to say about Mudkip.
I guess so. I
He's an
wasn't.
axolotl Pokemon. He's great.
That is cute. That is true. We don't have enough axolotl love in the world.
We need more.
We need more axolotl Pokemon. We have so many
We
fish
do.
Pokemon, but we don't have enough.
We need more
Axel-
jellyfish Pokemon.
Jellicent?
True.
Jellicent's kind of it.
And Tentacool. That's about it. Like, there's so many cool kinds of jellyfish out there.
Are you saying we need like one of those jellyfish that doesn't float? It like sits on a rock
Yeah.
and just wiggles.
Well, I guess that'd be more like an anemone Pokemon, which there
Yeah.
also isn't one.
Fools.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because Marini is more like a sea urchin, and then Corsola is coral.
Yeah. I was
But there's
thinking
no,
of
like-
the Clamperl family tool.
Maybe Lileep. But Lileep is based on an ancient type of sea anemone that's extinct now.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well,
the sea lily.
Is it extinct? I could have sworn that they were still around. Like,
Well, I think there are still sea lilies. It's just
I mean,
it's one of the common
coelacanths were
fossils that you
extinct
find.
until they weren't extinct anymore. Until we found one.
Technically, Relicanth isn't a fossil Pokemon. You just find it in the wild.
It's very rare. Crinoids? Is that what you're talking about, Peach?
Perhaps so.
Whoa. This thing is
Like, we used to have a fossil of one. They have, like, really long
What?
stems. And we have a fossil of one where you can kind of see, like, the lily branching pattern at the top. It's really fascinating.
Oh, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing
Where we live has a lot of good fossil spots. Just saying.
I'm seeing lots of crinoids, like colored pictures, so they're probably still around. That's because our dad lives right next to a creek where it's just like fossils galore. It's like I see places that sell fossils for like $5 for a tiny one. I'm like, pathetic.
Ha!
I can get these for marginally free.
Have we
I
ever
know
had
it.
sushi on the show before?
No, I don't think so. It's their first
Nope, this is-
episode.
yep, this is my first time.
Yeah.
Wow, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, I'd seen this episode. I've seen this episode quite a few times before, so
Yeah.
I have, but
already
as a
used
YouTube
to it.
poop.
Okay, I forgot that I watched this as a YouTube poop until I heard a line and I'm like, oh
Wait,
my.
they said the line differently. I was
What?
like, wait, what? Oh, right, that's not the line.
It was a complete.
It
like,
hasn't been invented yet.
what?
Or has it? No, it hasn't been invented yet.
Oh my gosh. I think we were planning to have you on the show for Mario 3, but by the time we were putting guests in, we were running out of episodes. So we're like, Sushi, your pick for a Mario World. And you're like, Rock TV. And it's like, good pick.
Rock
You
TV.
got it.
What dat?
You say, what, Dad? We're just saying all the quotes here.
This is such a good quotable episode.
This is a
really
very
is.
quotable episode. It rivals Perry Martin in the levels of
As
quotability.
I said, it's like bits of this episode are like hilarious, and it feels like they're all isolated incidents. Like nothing really flows together.
You don't think so? I found it to be pretty fun and connecting, but
It's
maybe
a funfetti mess, and I love it.
I'm loving it. So we do need to talk about oh my gosh, I wrote 2 full pages of notes. So who wrote this episode? So their name is George Shea. So they wrote this episode, 1 episode of Goof Troop, 1 episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 13 episodes for Jaina and the Jungle, and that's literally it.
Wow.
They wrote
Dang.
nothing else. They didn't work anywhere else, not like Frank Ridgway, who was art director and then he became a writer. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, to the point where it's like, I almost wonder, did he win a contest? Did they
Just a
have to
passion
call in a
project.
friend from way far back? And
He
like,
just helped with the editing, and they're like, "Here, we'll credit you for this." And he's like, "Okay, I guess."
All right, but I like to imagine that he came in and he wrote this episode, and then he handed it in, and they're like, "So what do you think?" And they're like, "Oh, that's great."
This episode's too long.
Well, no, it's that they look at the episode and they're like, "Oh, this is really really good." But don't you think you're trying a little too hard to make this a good episode? And they're like, "No, I gave it my all." And they're like, "Oh, that's great, but here at Deke, we really value quantity over quality. So, we're gonna refer you to the studio next door. Just check in with them and see what they say. Goodbye."
We're gonna hire you 10 years later to write a Kirby episode that's eerily similar to this one. I'll talk about that later.
Okay. But we haven't seen this writer at all before, which I think is a crying shame because they had a lot of good.
They did. There's a lot of really funny bits in this episode.
So we immediately start out the episode with dialogue. We are wasting zero time. And it's with Koopa, and we see the Coney Island Disco Palace at daytime.
I think it's hilarious. The scene starts with Koopa lamenting about how he hasn't done anything this whole season.
He's like, "I haven't done anything. Not since, yesterday. What's going on?"
Yeah, speaking of this episode being really quotable, that line
I
just
know,
starts off with
that's
a banger like that.
Although it's funny to think about because he really hasn't been doing anything evil this entire season.
It's true. The true evil one has been Mario itself.
Really, just Mario causes his own problems, and then they have to fix them.
Self-inflicted. There's
all he's really done is start a sketchy fast food business.
He did that. He tried to rampage over the town.
He tried to steal Christmas.
He had a clownery. He tried to steal Christmas.
He made a circus, I guess.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to steal Mario's shtick of introducing modern concepts to the Stone Age.
Third time's the charm.
So he's like, how could I control these stupid cave people?
Also, his word choice. I didn't have time to write down his word choice, but I loved.
So there's a lot of really good word choice.
Wordplay! I'm telling you, George gave it 100% in this episode, which I greatly appreciate. So, he's brainstorming, what do I do? And I really, really like this. He relates back to previous experiences.
It's really good.
What happened?
So he's like, what I learned about the real world, it's whenever humans get in front of the TV, they turn into brain dead idiots.
They turn their brain off.
And I love the show that they're watching.
So funny. So it's Wheel of Fortune, which is a more it's a complicated man's Wordle, if you will. Wheel of Fortune.
You're making it sound like people don't know what Wheel of Fortune is. It's still on.
I'm making this relatable to the youths.
I'd say it's like the poor man's Jeopardy.
It's Jeopardy, but not with the brain. You really have to puzzle over what the random phrase is. And the phrase is Metropolitan Museum of Art. No! Emil!
But the thing that they're spelling out is duh.
No, I love it because he's thinking, and then the idea comes to him, and it goes,
and
duh!
In the
TV.
flashback, he goes, television!
Yes, I love that bit. So much.
It's really good.
I just imagine that actually happened. That's how he learned what television was. He's looking in the window, he's like, television! Got it!
Duh! Just
duh!
I also love the implication that he didn't have his own TV, which from Mario 3, we know they had a TV, is that he would just window watch through other people's TVs.
I mean, I've done that before.
Was that a more common occurrence?
Not on purpose, but...
Right, but was it a more common occurrence, back in the 60s or something, that you would just hang out at somebody's window and just watch the TV?
It's something that happens more nowadays because of, the way people do their open house plans. It's that they have these glass windows and I'm driving home from work and I'm just looking over and you can totally see this person's giant TV and I'm just sitting there watching TV while I'm at the red light.
You're getting distracted. It's like the phone, but it's way off in the distance.
I'm just thinking of the time I was just walking back to my dorm during my first year of college and I just saw someone through a giant window playing Mario 64.
Like, stuff like that's hilarious.
I mean, listen, I'm also a screen peeker.
My mom calls it fish bowling.
It is! I fishbowled the neighbors next door. They were watching Finding Dory, and it was really blurry, but I could tell it was Finding Dory because it was very blue, and like an orange thing would show up. I'm like, hey, it's Finding Nemo or Finding Dory, whichever one. I've looked through people's windows. I remember in dorm life, one of my rooms.
When you say it like that, it sounds a little sketchy.
What dorm life? No, it was the second dorm that I stayed in, where I was in a window that directly faced another side of the dorm, so I could see people, and someone was playing a shooter. I don't know which one. It kind of looked like Overwatch, but not really, on their giant TV. It's funny to fishbowl and be like, what are you doing? What are you watching?
What are these people doing? Cool.
Anywho. So,
enough about people's private lives.
I'm sorry, I'm just cracking up over this episode still. So,
anyway, we can't use TV because it hasn't been invented yet. Or has it?
I like how there's 1, 2, 3
bong,
little
bong.
Fire torches to go, that is another thing that I sleep on in this episode is the sound design.
The sound design is fantastic in this episode.
Absolutely wonderful. I'm loving it.
So then we get the most pointless cut in the history of pointless cuts.
These crossfades are
we
very
crossfade
random.
to Uktar saying, "Looky Lou, there's something going on over here." Everyone looks at each other, and then we get another cut. And it's like, why was this scene here?
Yeah, it's like literally 5 seconds long.
I think it was 4 to 5 seconds.
Was it supposed to be some exposition? Because it was incredibly pointless. You could have just cut straight to the TV and them going, "Whoa, what's this thing? What's going on?" But we just wanted to hear Uktar say, "Looky Lou."
Okay, when he said Looky Lou,
Lou.
Do you know what I thought of? Looky Lou, Bub.
Looky Lou.
That YouTube poop where it loops for like 2 minutes. It just kept.
That's just how YouTube poops were. They would cut together the same line multiple times. They would splice together other random lines. Ladies and plumbers. And then have it be like silent and then be really loud, and that's just how it was. And it's hilarious.
I mean, that's fun because you're scrambling up the episode. My least favorite YouTube poop style, though, is if you play it over and over again and you don't do anything to the audio. Like, I understand slowing it down or speeding it up each time, like by steps, but just playing it 5 times. Looky Lou. But just playing it over and over, not great. Anywho, so we go to see what's going on at the Dune Temple? The field, the amphitheater, I don't know.
It does look like an amphitheater. So in their amphitheater section, Koopa has stacked a bunch of blocks up and put like trees on top to look like a TV.
Yeah, the little antenna, because antennas are
nothing
so
on.
popular on TV. There's nothing on! And then Mario's like,
well, maybe it's not plugged in. And I'm like, there's no back. What are you talking about?
The TV is a metaphor for shows.
It's just an amphitheater.
Did you have any thoughts on it,
For
Sushi?
those who are unaware, an amphitheater is just a small theater for a minor audience, bales of wood.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really have very many thoughts on here. I do have several thoughts on what immediately follows this.
Oh, yes.
So, why don't you introduce the scene, Sushi?
So, then at this point, King Koopa puts on a obviously fake human suit.
Mm-hmm. I like to think it's made out of rubber.
The top hat. You can still see his legs sticking out.
And his tail. It's not important. You know what? He has such high elevation that you can't even see the legs from the angle that you're looking up at the TV from.
And like when you look at reporters on TV, it's usually just a bus shot anyway, so.
Isn't the joke always that like reporters don't wear pants when they're on TV?
I feel like that's a current joke about Zoom meetings that people make all the time. It's that you dress up like halfway and then like you get up to do something and you realize that you're still wearing your PJ pants.
That's that coffee commercial. Best part of waking up
is going back to sleep.
I'll never get that vine out of my head.
Oh, lordy.
Anywho, Koopa introduces himself as Robbie Rockwell, or was it Rocky Rockwell?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention.
It's Robbie Rockwell.
Okay,
It's probably
Robbie.
a reference to some news anchor that was popular at the time.
Who
And
knows?
I will say, even though he dons this persona multiple times throughout this presentation, he just makes it incredibly obvious that he's King Koopa, and literally nobody picks up on this.
Not a soul.
You know what?
They make allusions to it, and then they're like, nah.
Nah.
It's not even really. I will
It
say,
never
like,
goes anywhere.
but like, even he flat out like hops out like in a normal suit, just goes like, "Oh hey, Mr. Koopa's neighborhood," and like Mario's like, "This is fine."
And Yoshi's
This is
like,
normal.
what wholesome programming?
Yes.
I think perhaps the idea that like television has returned is just like clouded their brains so much that they don't care what's on the TV so long as it's stuff.
Yes.
They're okay with it. Because I could see how the cavemen, they wouldn't have a bad opinion of Koopa. Because really, the people who brought in the bad opinion of Koopa,
We're the Marios.
yeah, were Mario and gang.
I have
Oh.
a thought about this later in the episode.
Okay.
We can
But
continue
also, I
there.
do also want to mention is Koopa's suiting up. You can see Cheatsy and Kooky. Cheatsy's still colored weird, but Kooky is actually colored correctly this episode.
You know,
But his head is tiny.
absolutely. The crazy thing about this episode is I think every Koopaling appears except for Wendy.
I didn't see Cootie Pie.
Cootie Pie's the only one that doesn't show up, and I'm like, is this the only Super Mario World episode with every Koopaling? Except for Cootie Pie?
I could see maybe the
I don't remember
Yoshi
the
Shuffle.
circus episode. No, there's only like 2 Koopalings in the
It's
Yoshi
Big
Shuffle.
Mouth and Cootie in
Bully.
Circus. And Bully? I don't remember Bully.
Bully's in Yoshi Shuffle.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Anywho, what we're saying is that they got very peppered in to the point where it's like, I wonder if George was left alone and he had old Mario 3 character designs lying around. And he's like, ooh, this looks good. I'm gonna use
Let's throw them in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, people know what I'm talking about.
So, in order to entice the cave people, Koopa gives them 3 shows to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, first they want to know Rock TV. What that?
You say, what that?
I love how he
That line
repeats
is
their
so
lines back. It's so useful in many situations.
Koopa is so well written in this episode. Harvey Atkins was having a ball.
I think maybe the voice actors, they looked
'Cause-
at the script and they're like, is this actual quality?
In the past episodes, like, Harvey Atkins just sounds really tired.
Yeah.
Man, I've been doing this for so long. I don't really feel it anymore. But in this episode, he's like, yeah, okay, this looks nice.
I mean, the art makes the artist. So getting a good script made good performances. But what are the shows that we're going to watch on
We've
Rock
got
TV?
Mr. Koopa's Neighborhood featuring Koopa in a cardigan.
Get me out of Mr. Koopa's neighborhood, please. What lessons would he teach the children?
I don't know.
Lie, cheat, steal.
Steal, and be rotten. We've got the World Dinosaur Wrestling Federation, which is a...
This was the time that wrestling was really popular with the kids and the youth.
I mean, we had Captain Lou in the previous show, so why not? I just love how, like, he doesn't have the budget to actually do the wrestling yet, so he's like, here's a demonstration, here's some popsicle stick puppets.
It made me think of the plays that you and Miss Judgment would do.
I love those.
Barney Goes to Hogwarts is in
And
fact a national treasure.
Last but certainly not least, we have Rock TV.
No,
Feet.
totally hip Rock TV.
Totally hip. Rock TV. Feet. Vanilla Ice Age.
Mokhtar just like starts dancing to it before anything even happens.
Well, some music starts
Well,
playing.
the music
and Ukar's
starts,
like,
and Ukar's like, whoa, music, I like this already. This
Oh,
is
yeah?
better than sitting and staring at the wall.
and then Koopa hops down and he hops up in this Vanilla
Oh my
Ice
God.
getup.
And he's got, like, What's the guy's name from Street Fighter? Guile?
Yeah.
With the
The
yellow hair?
cornrow? No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
Guile.
totally different style. Where it looks like his hair was standing vertical and then a razor blade came and chopped
It's
it.
a mohawk, but like instead of being spiky, it's like completely flat on the top.
So it's like a mohawk, but you took
I don't think that's
chainsaw.
what Vanilla Ice looks like, but I don't really know.
I don't
I just like the
something
little
to purple.
the MIDI spoof Ice
I
Baby
loved
that they play.
Did you see the
And he's
shoes?
dancing. It's-
The shoes are my favorite part.
It was so great.
They were the strap-on tap dancing shoes. That's
Oh
like,
my
oh yeah,
God.
he put this on in 1 second.
Like I'm feeling for Koopa, like he's really going all out for this presentation.
I know.
He's
and
got
also
the quick changes. He's having to wear that stupid rubber suit.
doing all these silly things. And also, I almost wonder if did George get kicked out because he referenced another star, like pop star, and they're like, did you not see what happened with Milli Vanilli? And he's like, what? Who's Milli Vanilli? I don't know them. I just know Vanilla Ice. But either way, Luigi is completely enticed, and he asks, how do we get one?
More importantly, how do we get one?
I also thought of that YouTube poop line.
We just keep referencing this one YouTube poop that we've seen a bazillion times.
Do you have a link to it?
No, a lot of these older ones I can't find anymore.
That's because we never stored them anywhere. I mean, the number one we'll forever look for is hip, hop.
Hop, hip, hop, hip, hop.
Where are you? That one is really good. But until we find it, I guess Rock TV YouTube Poops is the best you're gonna get. But it is weird how Luigi is the one that's all into watching, but then Mario's like the frugal, how much money?
Well, it's kind of like back in Mario 3, there's the episode Misadventures of Mighty Plumber, where Luigi gets really enticed by the TV show. And like Mario's still into it, but Luigi's like got that innocence to him. Like,
oh no,
what's
you're
gonna
talking
happen
about
to
no, you're
Mighty
talking
Plumber?
about Adventures of Mighty Plumber, Misadventures of Mighty Plumber. Because there's
Did I say the
two
wrong thing?
misadventure
Sorry.
episode titles. It's okay. I was like, wait, but in that one, Mario was all about the lasagna and Luigi was the realist.
Lasagna looks good.
But yeah, it's the one where Luigi was just super into it. Mario's like, calm down, Luigi. Why are you going crazy over
So,
this?
according to Koopa, the TV is 10 coins flat rate and then a coin a minute. What did you say, Koopa? There's a coin a minute.
So Koopa's Sonic Rock TV is charging, and this just reminds me of like on those dating services and phone lines where it's like they charge you for the minute, or like anytime you read something or change pages, they're like, that'll be $1, $1, $1. It's like microtransactions, but in a different way.
It's old-timey microtransactions.
Yeah.
And we get probably the best flashback I've ever
Oh
seen.
my gosh.
And I mean, we already had a great flashback with Koopa's television flashback.
This just takes me to be like,
It's
oh my
so
gosh, we
funny.
have another Brooklyn flashback. It
It's
felt
just
very special.
the most random flashback.
Well, it's that Mario and Luigi are waiting in line for a TV. And then Mario's like, dang, Luigi, this is a really good price. Like $10 for 10 coins for one TV. That's really good. And then Luigi's like, Mario, did you not hear the part about 1 coin a minute? Do you remember what happened when
with
you
our
phoned
Santa hotline?
Speak to Santa hotline?
Speak to Santa hotline. Why? Could they not think of anything else to call a hotline about?
Well, when you think hotline, what do you think of?
I don't know. They
I
don't
think
really
of those
do
hot
hotlines
babes in the
anymore.
area.
But apparently they
other
were
thing I-
talking to Santa for a long time.
Sushi, what hotlines do you think of?
Well, I was also like remembering like back in like around the time this was made,
Oh,
there were like things like, oh hey, call this hotline and like He-Man will tell you about an adventure he'll have and stuff like that.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
And
remembering
there was
now.
the Nintendo hotline that you could call if you needed help with your game.
Well, that's like a customer service hotline. I was thinking of, I think I saw a commercial for it with AVGN. It didn't have him in it, but he might have showed it, where it was like,
Oh man.
get your gaming cheats, like
Gaming
for
cheats.
50 cents a minute, like you'll get some gaming cheats. Or maybe it was Vinesauce that watched that.
I'm thinking of that Lemmy bit
Rip off.
with the jingles.
I'm not gonna go off the air until they give me all
No,
their money.
not that one.
Oh.
It's the feathers guy. You know, Lemmy, Limmy.
Oh yeah, with Billy the cat.
Yeah. Well, not Billy
Yeah.
the cat, but he had this one bit about the
The
jester.
That was the okay. That
Kill
was
the jester.
No, that was the hotline. It was from the Lemmy show, and it was shoot. I'm gonna look it up as I talk about it. But it was a hotline for like an like a role
It was
playing
like one of these
Lord of the
LARPing
Rings.
hotlines.
Like, call us and tell us what to do. Dungeons and Dragons, and they're like, "I'm the jester. I'm so funny. I do this and that." The first
And someone
player
calls in and
comes
goes, "Kill jester."
and they're like, "Well, we can't do that." And he
Kill
goes,
the jester.
and he's like, "I paid for it. I get what I want." And they're like, "But no, we're gonna send your money back." And he's like, "I'm gonna keep sending you money until you kill the jester." And then they killed the jester. And they're like, "Well, the show is over now."
It's over now. Hope you're happy.
I am.
Oh my god. I'll have to put a
So-
link to that somewhere.
Okay.
And I will say, so during this moment where Mario and Luigi are talking, I would also just like to point out that while this is happening, this one cave person standing in front of them in line is just constantly looking back on them, probably just wondering, what the hell are you two talking about?
What?
Who spends $1,295.31 on a Speak to Santa hotline? Also, dear God, the line read was so funny there.
I found it absolutely hilarious.
Not only was
and I don't
Koopa
know
having a great
why.
time reading these lines, but Mario is killing it in this episode.
Mario
Yes.
and Luigi are just on fire. Absolutely. I don't know what it is
so
about
funny.
this line read that makes it so funny, but it's just the idea of him looking at the numbers and saying them one by one
You
by
said
one.
each individual number with such ferocity and then immediately passes out.
$1,295.31.
And 31 cents!
Well, I also love how when he looks at the farm bill, his eyes do the Looney Tunes
Wooga.
bug out, and he passes out. I saw that Luigi just gave the paper to him and watched him pass out. Was like, well, I guess that's done with.
Were they both using the hotline, or was Mario the only one using the
Was
hotline?
Mario hogging the hotline? I think the most realistic description would be that he thought he rang up, but because he didn't hit the pound symbol or whatever, it continued charging for it, even though he wasn't on the line at all. That's the realistic one. But the funny one is that he just couldn't stop getting into contact with Santa. He
Just
needed
really
to know.
wanted to talk to Santa.
He really needed to know what he was getting for Christmas. He was going to find out. Here's what he's going to get for Christmas: bankruptcy. Ching. But I really love Mario's.
Ching.
So Mario makes a really good point here, which is that was a big pain for Mario back then because they had to work for money. But money is not a struggle anymore, so it's so
True.
whatever.
Who cares? If we find money in bushes, why do they even have a currency system? We don't know.
Whatever. It's just a matter of
Money
the
is no
barter
object
principle.
to these cave people.
It's the bartering principle. I don't know. Anywho,
They get up close to Koopa in his outfit, and
In his
Luigi's like,
rubber suit.
huh, it's kind of funny how his mouth doesn't move when they're talking.
and as he says this, did you notice that Luigi his mouth started moving before he said the lines? Was this like
Well,
the
you know,
most
I
inside
think-
joke ever?
I think Luigi's been watching too many cartoons. Bum.
It's
And while
okay.
he says that, Mario and while while that sound effect goes on, Mario's talking as well, so I can only imagine that Mario just made that sound effect with his own voice.
I just love
This is the funniest rim shot placement I think I've
Yes,
ever heard.
just
the funniest rim shot, not only because of where it's placed, but because of the way it sounds. It's just
God,
three,
yes.
but up.
How loud it is! Just
Yes.
randomly, just boom, there it is.
It's so great.
It makes a line that wouldn't really be funny get a giant chuckle out of me.
It's usually like whenever they put in laugh tracks, I say they. Whenever sitcoms use laugh tracks, it's like, does that make it funny? But I think the best laugh track is one that is self-aware, and this is a very self-aware rim shot.
It's so great.
I'm loving it. So
I'm loving it. I love how they can't get the color of Koopa's hands right.
and I
at
really
all.
like how Mario says the next line after the rim shot. He goes, "Who cares?"
Here's 10 clams. I mean coins.
I
I'm
want my
Brooklyn.
rock TV.
I want a
I
rock
don't know.
TV.
I want that TV. And I really love how the mess up for clams comes into Koopa being like, clams, coins,
Clams, coins. We're giving them away.
whatever. Just take the TV.
Take your TV, and he practically throws it at him.
Okay. Oh, and then they ask, where's the remote? And he's like, well, remotes haven't been invented yet. That's going to take a few thousand years.
So we'll put you on a wait list. It's fine.
It's fine. It's like
Oh my god!
and then the greatest part comes.
The greatest part! Koopa smacks Luigi's butt.
Koopa secretly smacks Luigi's booty as to, like, I understand it was to get them out of the line and to be like, hurry up, but it just looked like Koopa was doing this and he's like, I've got an opportunity.
Opportunity!
Buenos dias, Luigi!
Clap them cheeks.
Like, he couldn't hold himself back. He's like, I can't give away that I'm Koopa. I can't give away that I'm King Koopa. Play! Put those
The
big games.
opportunity!
I gotta do it!
I gotta do it!
He's gotta smack that ass.
Oh, lordy.
Oh my god.
It's really good. Sushi, what do you think about our...
This is the longest, shortest episode that's ever existed.
I mean, I feel the longest, shortest ones are the worst ones because it's like, when is it going to end? But for me, it's like, it's only been 6 minutes.
There's so much jam-packed in this. I don't even think it's 6 minutes. It's like 5 minutes.
It's
I think
really
it's like
crazy.
4 minutes and I'll be honest, like I was kind of expecting this to feel a lot longer than it was.
Mm-hmm.
But this just flew by for me completely.
It feels like it goes by and you're like, wait, what? And then you have to go back and watch it,
It was
again.
a roller
Like, what
coaster
happened?
of an episode, which is
Did
the best kind of episode you
Koopa just
can get.
smack Luigi's butt? What's going on?
What? Booty!
I heard a slapping noise, but it cut really fast.
He's like, whatever, move on, move on.
Move along, move along.
So they go back to the house, and Toadstool, in a way that I understand your objections to Toadstool, she's very against the idea of a television. She's like, no, I am not watching the stupid television.
TV rot your brains.
We're
I'm
going-
hip.
I love how she says nature walk. It's
I'm
like
going
when
on a
mom-
nature walk.
It's like when
I'm
mom's
a
like, I'm
hipster.
going on a nature walk. And then Yoshi's like, but I want to
watch TV.
and she just drags him.
It's funabunga.
And to me, this is one of the other funniest lines, is that Mario, holding his giant disc-sized coin, is like, oh, that's fine, Toadstool. Maybe we'll see you on PBS.
We need another rim shot there.
Because I love that the idea is that because she's out in nature and experiencing life, she'll be on PBS, which usually has a bunch of shows about like nature and travel.
You know, one of my favorite jokes is when like they do a rim shot and then they keep doing the rim shot and then someone's like, stop doing the rim shot.
Stop it.
That would have worked really well here if they just like kept doing it and like making it faster each time.
That's like what you see in like Phineas and Ferb, which, by the way, have you noticed there's a bunch of Phineas and Ferb clips going around on YouTube lately?
I have not.
That and Gravity Falls, to the point where it's
Well,
like, how do I not?
Gravity Falls makes sense because it's about to turn 10.
Oh no! But for Phineas and Ferb, it's funny because I'll see these lines and I'm like, I do not remember the
I
episodes.
remember
that
all these
appeared in.
lines. You could show me any clip and I could associate back to the
Okay,
episode.
it's the one. What about the one where Phineas misplaces his ant farm?
I seem to have misplaced my ant farm. Mom! Yeah, that's from the episode where they go to their grandparents' house for like a summer camp.
Is that the Moss one?
No, that's the part 2. That's the Ballad of Badbeard. The first one
Okay.
is with the. I'm getting a call. Who could it
Get it-
be?
Turn your phone
Oh,
on.
it's our mother.
It's Mom. Answer it right now. Answer
Hang
phone.
on, I'll tell her I'll talk in a minute.
No, answer the phone.
No, we're busy. Anyway, let's continue with this episode.
We do need to continue. So Mario is just so ready, and I love how he puts the coin in like you would a DVD. And what a surprise! What does the TV have inside of it but a Magikoopa?
This is giving me flashbacks to the
Wheel
car,
thing?
the
Yes.
wheel thing where they had the Goombas trapped in the cars. Now we've got Magikoopas trapped in the box.
But I like
Like-
the idea that it's like you'll wake up when you know it's time, and you know it's time when the thing hits you on the head.
They shove money in there, and he's like, "Oh, fine, okay, whatever."
So he casts a magic spell, and they get really
So
taken
here's
in.
my question:
Yeah.
is it supposed to be hypnotism? Is it that they're just using magic to compensate for
Lack of electricity.
lack of electricity? Are the cave people just stupid?
I think what it is it's that if you weren't under the spell, you would look at Mario and Luigi staring at an
At a box.
empty cube. You'd look
And
at them
you'd be like,
staring
"What
at a
is happening?"
box, and you'd be like, what? But if you were Mario and Luigi, you would see a wonderful show on the television.
A wonderful show called Sonic Says.
No, it's Koopa Says.
I mean, Koopa Says. Is it supposed to be a Sonic Says joke?
No,
I know it's
because
the same
Sonic was
studio.
after. No, it was the same studio, but Sonic, the cartoon was after Mario World.
Okay.
To me, this is more of a Club Mario joke than
I guess
anything
so.
else. It's like, did they just?
But it turns into an exercise show.
So Koopa Says, it's Simon Says, but it's
We
Koopa
gotta trim all that ugly fat.
ugly fat. It's so
Here's our fat
mean.
shaming joke for the episode.
George did that research. He's like, I know that they need the fat joke. So he's like, get up and move your body. And they move their body by wiggling back and forth.
God, I love that. I love
Do
that
the
bit of
wiggle.
animation so
You know,
much.
that adds some credence to you saying like they're imagining themselves working out and watching this TV, but they're really just sitting there going,
It's so
Good Lord.
stinking funny. I don't know. The way they wiggled reminded me of something, but I can't place what the wiggle was. Oh, it's from SpongeBob. It's one of the dances that Squidward does.
Oh my
When
god.
do you know which episode I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Where he's like, no, it's before the crazy
Before that one.
arms, where he's wiggling. It's not that one either.
So
It's
great.
fine.
I love it.
But we see the hypnotism is working on the other cave people, and they're all doing the aerobics routine, and we see Uktar and
his family?
I think it's
guess.
his family. We've just
Actually
never seen them
exercising.
before now. Yeah, they're doing
the
family
chicken.
aerobics.
Because we can't get rid of the chicken thing. Why did they have to remind me of that episode? I'd almost
We can't-
successfully blocked it from my mind.
We can't stop thinking about chickens in this house. And so
I don't know. So this whole episode is reminding me of a Kirby episode that is much better than this episode.
that is
In terms
that's
of plot,
mean.
in terms of laughs, it's about equal. But
That's mean.
so that one actually had a focus.
You're comparing a show written in the 1990s to
True.
one written in the mid 2000s.
So the whole idea with the Kirby episode is that DDD gives the Dreamland people TVs because it hasn't been invented yet.
Well, he just wanted to give him something fun.
And then he uses the TV program to brainwash them into attacking Kirby. So it looks like that's where this episode's going until it's not.
No. Just kind of doesn't do that.
Because, like, they're leading up to it because Koopa's like, now that you're all excited, it's time for something else. And then Mario and Luigi's TV spontaneously cracks in half.
It spontaneously combusts.
Where did the Koopa go? What happened? We don't know. Mario just kicks the TV.
Well, here's the thing. Where did the Magikoopa go inside that TV? The nice answer is they
Maybe
set
he
off
was
a bomb
taking a
and
lunch break.
teleported. The sad answer is that they were a kamikaze person. And they blew up the TV with them inside.
Did they mean to make Mario and Luigi's TV break?
Yes, because why would you tell people to like chase after themselves?
Because in
They
the
would have
Kirby
broken out of
episode, one of
hypnosis.
the funny bits is that they actually hypnotized Kirby for a minute there to attack himself. And then Kirby snaps out of it immediately because he's like, oh wait, they're talking about me.
I mean, the Kirby episode, it has the grace of being twice as long. So it has a lot more time to slowly
True.
like get the brainwashing in movement. And this one, Koopa knows that the brain levels of these people is so low that literally you just need to get their attention and then tell them what to do and they'll do it.
Just show them something shiny and then they're like, all right, we'll do whatever you say.
We want the shiny. We need the shiny.
It's like a cat toy. Just dangle the cat toy in front of them and they're yours.
So I'm very confused in that after Koopa gives his orders, there's like a silent white noise. Is this no program airing at the moment? Or was
Yes,
it like, you
that's
gotta
what it's
keep it
supposed to be.
going or I'll keep the siren going and you're gonna hate it?
It's supposed to be like a technical difficulties thing, like the color bars or whatever. It's something
Okay.
that they do. I mean, we don't see it nowadays because there's just so many things to put on instead.
Yeah. Or if you do see you'd see it as static, not color bars.
Mhm.
Anyways, so Mario and Luigi, they're like, oh, our TV's on the blink. Luigi says, maybe we should put more coins into it and it will fix itself.
It's like Luigi, it is broken in half.
Oh
There's
my
no fixing
God.
that TV.
There's nothing to do. I do love how Mario picks it up and he's like, stupid hunk of junk, and he throws it out the window and
Which
into the water.
I will say, no, he doesn't say that. He calls it worthless Koopa junk. So now he acknowledges that it's a Koopa thing.
I just realized.
Did we know it was a Koopa thing the whole time? Because there was no, like, face turn of, whoa, it was Koopa the whole time.
Maybe-
It's like, I think they just forgot the plot.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was
I mean,
called
they're-
the Koopa Sonic, so it could just be a way of referring to the TV.
It feels like they cut out a bunch of, like, how their TV broke, how they found out about Koopa, how everybody got brainwashed, what happened, we don't know. All
it
we
didn't
know
need
is
to
that
be too fast.
the cavemen people have pitchforks and whatever, and they've gathered the Marios.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I am thinking if this episode were like the Kirby one, it would kind of turn into King Scoopa Koopa again, where it's like they want to take away your TV. What are you gonna do? And it would just devolve
Mine
back
them.
into that. But I
Mhm.
like the direction that this one went with. So
which
they
it does
do.
lose the plot, and it just becomes that wrestling episode again.
It does.
That's true.
But before we get to the wrestling, I want to comment that they hear the cave people like marching to bring them in, and they're really good at pronunciation now. Get Mario, get Luigi. And Mario and Luigi look at each other with such a sad look on their face. They're like,
Like,
oh.
this is what our lives have come to.
And then it just transitions to them being at the stadium.
Like, they're not even tied up or whatever. The cave people are like, hey, can you go to the stadium? And they're like, okay.
They went without much of a struggle at all.
This really leads credence to the fact that they aren't hypnotized. The cave people are just stupid.
Yeah.
Koopa was literally just like, hey, why don't you bring the Marios here? We'll put them on TV. And they're like, okay.
Sure, we love to do that. We love them. And I
'Cause,
do
like,
love how
Mario looks at Uktar like, thanks, pal.
I love Mario. He keeps doing the thanks a lot, friends. so angry.
So stupid.
But I'll tell you who's got the real rage in this episode, and that's Koopa, or should I say Bowser, because he has big Bowser energy in this episode.
So now he's thrown out all his disguise pretenses. He's like, yeah, you already know it's me in charge of the TV, so whatever.
And here's what we're doing. You're gonna be on a wrestling show. Now get in there. And he just like slaps them. He gets them into the room. To me, it kind of feels like when someone gets superpowers and they're not used to them. And it's like they keep breaking things and being like, oops, I'm sorry. But Koopa's doing this on purpose. He's putting his way into the punch as he like slaps them over.
Also, missed opportunity with the All-Star Prehistoric Tag Team Wrestling. Like, they already made a World Dinosaur Wrestling Federation joke earlier.
We canceled the World Dinosaur. It's time for the All-Stars.
Did they just forget they'd already made the joke and made a different joke?
Maybe Koopa forgot the name of it. And he asked one of his kids what it was, and then someone said something, and he's like, yeah, that was it.
Came up with that, and he's like, yeah, we'll go with that.
Sure, whatever.
So also, speaking of Big Mouth, unfortunately...
we do see Hip and Hop.
Yeah!
I really like how Hip and Hop are like the little bell ringers. They hit the rock.
Adorable.
It's really fun. But Big Mouth is here, and this... I remember I was thinking back to Mario 3, how Big Mouth, he wouldn't show up a lot, because when he would show up, he'd need to have good lines. And to me, this guy...
Dear God, he had good lines.
These are really...
And a lot of them, because he goes on for like a full minute here.
He's Mr. Filibuster.
Like, they throw him off the stage twice, and he's talking the whole time.
I just love how he's talking about introducing the people to fight the Mario Brothers, and Koopa gets so annoyed that he just climbs into the ring and is like, shut up! And the Big Mouth's like, I'm almost done! And then he picks him up.
He picks him up, throws him, and he's still giving his speech while he's flying through the air.
And as he's talking and gets further away, it gets quieter and quieter. It's so funny. So also Big Mouth's here for that big finish, which maybe I missed had a Deltarune brain, but I know his name's Big Mouth, but I first thought of Big Shot. Like, you want to be big? You want to be a big shot. Big!
Also, speaking of Phineas and Ferb, Luigi's really got a firm head here.
I don't think I
There's
noticed.
just something about the way they color their faces, like when they're small. It's that I think they colored their mustaches flesh-colored by accident, so they just got really big, fleshy heads.
Big noses.
It's weird.
But Big Mouth, he comes back, because he's not done. He needs to introduce the Mario Brothers. So there were so many lines from him that were great, but the one I wrote down was for the bucolic borough of Brooklyn, the this, that, these, those, the fat, faucet-faced freaks.
God.
Like, this is so much. And so he just keeps talking, and then the orange dinosaur is like, had enough, and he picks him up, and he just eats him off, which honestly, if this is wrestling, this is completely in character for wrestling, because usually one of the first people to get hurt, the ref, because the wrestlers don't play by the rules, and it's like they throw the ref out, or they knock him out, or they do something, beat him up.
It's great.
Sushi, do you have any wrestling experience? Not personal experience, I mean watching experience.
I have none at all.
Okay, we don't either. I've got nothing besides understanding that
my boyfriend does, but I haven't I haven't managed to learn anything through osmosis yet.
I know there's the people, and that there's two types of ways to get a crowd going. You can be the face, which is like to have people have pride in you and cheer for you, or you can be the heel, where you like revel in the booing. You're like, yeah, keep it going. All attention's good attention. Which is where the trope, like, heel face turn comes from. It's like where they go from being mean to being good. Or they'll be good, and then suddenly they'll turn evil, and they're like, yeah, boo me! I don't care. That's all I know about wrestling. The other thing I know wrestling is that it's really theater. and it's fake, but the point isn't to trick people into thinking
I
it's
don't know
real.
how they do this. I'm bruised all over.
Okay, we'll get to that line before, but Mario he's thrown into the ring by Koopa, and the first thing he says is "leap in lasagna," which to me, it's like, okay, this episode's just doing everything for me. We've got Brooklyn, we've got really good wordplay, we've got puns, we've got rim shots, and now we have lasagna jokes. This is just doing it for me.
Yes.
And then
This
Luigi
episode is great.
And then Luigi just kind of goes, "Oh, hey Mario, don't worry. He wants to shake hands. He wants to be friends."
He's put his hand out, Mario. He wants to shake your hand.
You gotta shake his hand, Mario.
His line delivery was so weird. Come on, Mario. I think he wants to do it. You gotta do it, Mario.
Come on, Mario, shake his hand, yeah!
So then Mario's like, alright. So then he shakes the sweaty hands of his fellow big dino wrestler, and then the dino wrestler just starts spinning him around like the rinse cycle. Woo! The spin cycle. So he's getting flown around.
My favorite
and
weird joke, that I'm not even
Yeah.
sure if this was on purpose, but it's that Mario gets spun around by the green dinosaur.
It's that Luigi gets like sprung backwards and I don't know, something about the way the orange dinosaur got Luigi was really funny, where it's like he stretched him because Luigi's so long that he can be turned into a rubber band.
So he gets flung up, and then they throw Mario, and so then they smack into each other, and they switch clothes colors. And I'm like, was that on purpose? Because when we cut back to them, they're wearing their normal clothes again. But I'm like, that would be so funny if they hit each other, and they hit each other with such force that they swapped clothes.
I almost thought that it was on purpose, because when it cuts to the next, like, scene, they are still wearing different colored clothes. And it's like, wait, color discontinuities don't carry over between cuts.
I mean,
what's going on?
They can
and do. It's really rare.
But it's just so weird. It's just like, I don't know. It was unintentionally hilarious.
It was. They got the beans knocked out of them. So Toadstool and Yoshi just kind of show up. They noticed a big fuss in the nature walk, so they walk up and they're like, "Oh dang, what's going on?" And let me tell you what's going on. Something not good. This is not children appropriate television that we are seeing here, folks. Am I the only one who saw it this way?
Perhaps so, because I didn't write anything about this.
Okay.
I was too preoccupied with them swapping clothes.
Because what happens is Mario and Luigi are just being utterly squashed, like pinned down. And Mario, this is where Mario says this line, "How do they do it on TV? I'm so hurt. I'm bruised all over." And it's like, and then it cuts to Luigi, and the position that Luigi's in, and the fact that Mario said he's bruised all over and Luigi agrees, it's like,
your head is right in the gutter.
Mine! Oh.
Yeah. Oh, well. No. You know what time it is? It's music time.
Yeah, so Toadstool's like, "We gotta help." And Yoshi says, "Ooh, climb on my back and I'll, like, get you up top to hit the blocks that make up this TV tower."
What did you think of the song, Sushi?
I'm personally not really a fan of it, but I don't have anything else in this show to even compare it to.
I would say it's definitely one of the weaker songs that they've done.
Really? I thought it was A-okay.
We've had some stunners. This wasn't one.
What have been our good songs?
I can't think of any right now. I'm tired.
See? I'm thinking this is one of the better ones. I liked how the different Koopa kids sang along to it.
I just think it's weird that we have a mini Mario block.
Okay, this is where things get weird. So we reach for the top of the sky as Toadstool flies up, and she hits the first block, and the first block is Super Paper Mario? It's full of Marios.
Maybe it's a Mario World power-up, and Super Paper Mario was a reference to that? I don't
I have
know. I'm not sure. Do you know anything about Mini Mario's Sushi? I don't know.
I don't know either.
okay.
There's
The
just a
Mini
bunch of
Marios
tiny Marios.
I can think of is Super Paper Mario, and you get the little mini people, and you get like a little ring of whoever you were controlling when you hit the thing to get a little bunch of minis. In New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, there was the mini mushroom, which lets you run really fast, but that was a new. Don't yawn.
I'm tired.
Ah,
It's late. I still gotta call my mom.
ah. Anyways, and that's all the mini Marios I can think of. I have
It is fun.
absolutely no
It is
idea
fun
where this
for the
came from.
sequence though, because we get all the Koopalings like chasing all these mini Marios.
That's the thing. Is it fits really well. It makes no sense.
So I like
And at
the
the same
sequence more than
time-
the song. Like it doesn't fit in anywhere, but it's a good sequence.
So somehow they beat up. Mario gets free, and then Toadstool finds a block with a feather, and it's just slowly floating down.
I love how Koopa's just like gingerly holding his hands out, like, "Come on, feather. Come on, feather. Come on."
And then Mario jumps and is like,
Papa
"No,
wants to power up.
no, you
No,
need to
my
get that
feather.
power up,
My Toya.
my Toya." So then Mario gets the feather, and he just knocks Koopa right out of there. And then Luigi's like getting attacked by the orange Koopa. And this is another position where I'm like, Luigi, please!
Like it's just a wrestling thing. It's just how wrestling goes.
I don't know. Perhaps wrestling is just inherently
Yes.
sexual.
All right, buddy.
Look! Someone had to say it.
Mario.
Oh, so
They
this is
are
really
wearing
funny.
leotards. Anyway.
So it's like they flip the orange dinosaur off, and then Luigi hops on, and then Mario starts slamming the floor. 1, 2, 3. The slam sound effects were
That is funny.
pretty funny. So it's like, all right, they're beat. We've beat them. Meanwhile, very meanwhile, Yoshi is in the audience.
And Yoshi wants to eat everything.
He's hungry, and we know he's
He's as hungry as a hippo.
And yet he just doesn't want to swallow all the Magikoopas inside the TVs.
So first
He
of all,
doesn't like
who
the filling.
brought their TV
To the TV watching party.
TV watching party?
Yeah!
Maybe the cave people don't know how the TV works. They think it has to be next to the TV to work. I don't know, man. They're like, we love our
Not one,
TVs so
but
much that we carry
two
them
people
everywhere.
brought their TVs with them. So it's like he eat the TV and then he spits out the Magikoopa. And I love
Now,
how when he
normally-
spits out the Magikoopa, where he gets
The
like,
Magikoopa just looks offended and walks away.
Yes,
How
I
he
love
doesn't
that.
even look offended. He just leaves.
He's like, well, I guess this is my life now. Bye.
This was a paycheck.
This was a paycheck.
I really
great.
think that it's like Koopa paid the Magikoopas. It's like you're gonna sit the TV and
They
you're
do
gonna do
look
this
very
for me.
disgruntled. They're like, do I at least get a lunch break? And they're like, yeah, okay, fine.
I'll pick up my check tomorrow.
So normally this is the part where they'd be like, oh my gosh, there were Magikoopas in the TV and we were brainwashing everyone. Boop boop moral. But like, we don't care about that.
No, we don't care about that. We just get Yoshi.
George was like, you know what, Mario? When you watch Mario, you're not here for morals. You're here for fun, and I'm gonna give.
You're
fun.
here for stupid jokes.
Wario will show you fun.
You're here for Yoshi being a block-eating fiend.
And I also like how Uktar, when Yoshi eats his TV, he says dumb dino Duke.
Doof.
Oh, it's Doof. I heard Duke. It's like, what do you think you're doing? Yoshi's like,
Maybe he
"Well,
said dude, I don't know.
I really liked it. And then he's like, oh, but I can eat this big TV instead.
Yes, he just looks up at like that giant freaking TV and it's just like,
And he's like,
Theater.
I can
"Ooh,
eat that.
I'm surprised they didn't make a TV dinner joke.
Oh yeah, they didn't!
He makes some other joke, and I'm like, but it was right there. TV dinner.
Were TV dinners not too big in the 90s?
No, it was
Or-
a thing. They make a joke
Okay.
about it in the Sam and Max show.
Okay. I say that because when I think of TV dinners, I think of the ones in our
Matilda?
time, which no, not Matilda. I was thinking.
Well, there's the whole scene in Matilda where
Well,
it's.
Matilda, that one's like processed. Just heat up the can, whatever.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
then
the
they
whole
leave.
idea of TV dinner. It's you have your little TV tray and you put your dinner on it and you eat it in front of the
When they're
TV.
watching that weird show where
The
people like
one where they
put
stick the
glue.
money, they glue the money on them.
Yeah, and
And then they explode the TV.
They put glue on their body and they go into the tunnel to stick the money on their body. And then Matilda was very upset and she blew up the TV. I am not remembering that. It was an earlier scene.
That's a TV dinner. Like that's what they're referencing.
Right.
Well, what they should have referenced.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that we didn't have too many TV dinners like growing up, because when I see them in stores, it's like, this is a sad person's meal.
It is. I used to eat those things all the time, and now I just see them in there, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I moved on from that.
What were your favorite ones?
Pretty much anything hungry, man.
Link
really?
Cuisine.
You were a hungry?
Kid Cuisine.
I mean, I will never think I even had a Kid Cuisine. It's the one I'd see and be so jealous of, but no.
Like, I want a Kid Cuisine. They're cool. They've got dinosaur-shaped macaroni.
Did I actually say that?
No, me.
You said that.
I was thinking about Lunchables the other day. My friend at work was eating
Were you
a
watching
Lunchable. And I'm like,
talk about Lunchables?
oh no, it was that my friend at work got a Lunchable. And I was just like, man, that used to be the hot commodity in the elementary school lunchroom.
Once a month, I looked forward to that Lunchable so much. And now it's like, that's just sad. It's like now gas station food.
Now I get adult Lunchables, which is like a salami with cheese.
No, it's one of those sandwiches that's put in that little triangle box. It's the key. I don't mean to discount all frozen foods. Some frozen foods are like delicious, like orange chicken, spring rolls, but don't make that your entire meal, I think is the point of a frozen food. Anyways, it's a very long way of saying
we waited the whole episode to get the best animation in this entire series.
Before that, they're talking with Toadstool and they're like, wow, it was all a hack from Koopa. And Toadstool's
Do they
like,
say that? I don't remember them saying that.
They say something like, wow, that just happened. And then Toadstool goes, yeah, but Koopa really... he really gave us a show worth watching. And I'm like, no!
We need another rim shot. Cue the rim shot.
I found it to be another really funny pun. It's like, now even Toadstool's getting in on the puns. This is so good. So then we do get the best animation because Koopa's like, oh my gosh, Yoshi is eating my...
Yoshi?
And with fluidity, not even seen in Cuphead.
It's amazing.
It's like 60 FPS.
He jumps over the thing and runs, and it's like, whoa, where did all this budget come from?
Maybe it's like this. The animators at the end, they're like, hey,
they got a second wind right at the end.
We never really tapped into it.
We saved a lot of budget by screwing up all the colors earlier. Why not?
So he just like glides over to try and stop Yoshi, but Yoshi he messes with the stability and the whole rock TV.
He eats the bottom of the Jenga tower and it all collapses.
You're right, that's a better metaphor for it. Oh no, Koopa dies by landfall, but he didn't die. He's okay. And I really like how Yoshi has zero hard feelings for Koopa, and he's like, oh no!
We were talking about it earlier. It's like Yoshi doesn't even register Koopa as a threat. Like, he's just like, oops, this guy's stuck in there. Don't worry, I'll eat you out in a minute. And at this point, Koopa's like, yeah, just hurry it up.
He says, you think you could maybe eat a little faster as he's drumming his fingers on the pot.
I'm like, look, he knows his plan has failed already. He's like, all right, fine, just get me out of here.
I just love the idea that the only one who's really posing Koopa as a threat around here,
it's Toadstool.
Mario and Toadstool.
And
Mario, Luigi, and Toadstool.
Because even Mario and Luigi, they're not doing much about it. They're just like, Koopa's a bad guy, but like,
he's not a bad guy. It's like Wreck-It Ralph. Just because you're a bad guy does not
Does
mean you
not
are a
mean you're
bad
a bad
guy. This really hits Bowser levels with me. Koopa does in this
does.
episode.
This episode's fun.
But we finished. Who's your MVP?
I gotta go with Koopa. He was just super funny in this episode.
I'm having a hard time between Koopa and Mario.
Koopa just worked really hard. He did all those scene changes. He came up with this whole plan. And then
He
they're
even
like,
got his kids in on it.
we've distributed all these TVs. Yay! And then they're like, all right, so now your plan can start, Dad. And he's like, wait, there was a plan? I thought we were just doing TVs.
I thought we were melting their brains into mash. I do love also, there was the phrase that what turns the real people's brains into mashed potatoes?
I mean, we could have done like the other aspect of the Kirby episode where it's that everyone was like stuck inside watching the TV and there was just like nobody outside to see what was going on.
That's what I always think of with the Kirby episode. Not that they were being brainwashed, but it's like they're thinking that their houses are being destroyed, and then it comes to Tiff having to grab
that's part of the
somebody and push them outside and be like, look, there is
nothing happening.
This is all a plot. I do love when they go into the basement of the Kirby episode to find out like the secret, and then that's Godzilla. And then it's really funny at the end where Kirby keeps like wanting to look at the camera, and Tiff's like, Kirby, I have to keep talking, and Kirby just keeps squishing himself into the camera more and more.
So who is your most valuable paisano, Sushi?
Absolutely Bowser.
It's gonna
be so
Absolutely.
funny.
Then I'll
Absolutely
give it to
killed it.
Mario, because I loved the absolute Brooklyn rawness that
True.
Mario brought to this episode.
I got 10 claims. I mean coins.
There's that. There's him reading out the phone bill. There's him being like, come on, Luigi, money's not important. We don't work for it anymore.
I do love the scene where he's kicking the TV. That was
And then this when he throws the TV out.
Throws it out the window.
It reminds me of in Misadventure of Mighty Plumber when he's like, the TV's on the blink, and he's banging it with his fist. I just love the absoluteness that Mario brought to this episode.
It's great.
Oh, you're yawning. My throat's dry.
Yawniness. I guess we've come to the end of another episode of Super Mario World.
In the Supershow Saga. After this, there are 3 left.
Woo!
We have 4 to record, but there's 3 left. And honestly, I think starting with Rock TV, we're in the home stretch of good episodes.
We are. It's just insanity.
Well, it's insanity. Mama Luigi, maybe.
Well, we're
insanity.
at the episodes that they've YouTube pooped to death, so I've seen them.
Yeah. Okay. This is a volcano. Oh, we will be having fun.
It's a
and also,
Luigi, you didn't make it.
Can't spoil it just yet. Also, this is very late, but sorry about some weeks that I'll just be like, there's no episode this week. It's because school is a lot.
You got
for me.
stuff to do.
It's only week 4, and already it's like, too much school. That's enough of me. Peach, where can people find you?
You can find me at peachsupremeart.tumblr.com.
And
where I hopefully will be posting every Saturday now.
Yes.
As long as that persists.
And I'm at delfinodurians.tumblr.com. Sushi, where can people find you?
You can find me streaming occasionally on twitch.tv/Lord of Sushi, all as one word. And like I said before, I am currently streaming a playthrough of Pokemon Emerald, but I will be spicing things up with some playthroughs and some mini games, aims just to kind of add some variety to things.
Okay.
Nice.
Well,
what else do we have to plug? Did we plug Taylor
our
yet?
outro. No. Do you remember the lines, Peach?
Right. I'm here. Our outro was composed by Taylor Lair, you can find her at tlair.bandcamp.com. That's
Listen to all of her albums.
the letter T, Laire.bandcamp.com.
And happy
Beep, boop.
belated anniversary to Libra. Her music is good. Very good.
Very nice.
Hey, we didn't talk about our Robin news.
There's Robin news.
Well, I don't know. It's that we updated our kittens chart again.
Okay, we can talk about that later.
Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you
Wish
very
us
much
off.
for coming on, Sushi.
Yay.
Oh, not a problem at all. It's been fun being here.
Yay. Bye, Zani.
Paisani.
Paisani!
Hmm, 10 coins down. That's cheap.
But a coin a minute, Mario? That's gonna add up fast. Remember the trouble we got into with that Speak to Santa hotline back in Brooklyn?
Phone bill, amount due $1,295.31.